Welcome to Just Some Points, our weekly podcast from Points Group. Hope you enjoyed the last, 25 or 26 episodes, and I'm looking forward to today again. For change, I'll get started first today. What I wanted to talk about was actually triggered by Apple's new product announcement. As we all seen, they announced a new series of iPhones, all 5G capable. And so I want to talk about how 5G will impact marketers and marketing overall. First of all, obviously, the obvious thing is 5G increases the speed, and with that, the ability for marketers or for companies to have more complex and feature-rich websites. And so, if you're still working with your website from 5-6 years ago, and if you've listened to us over the last half year, you should know by now that you can't stand still with your website. You really have to focus on, everything going on at Google. But 5G will certainly will have an impact on the needs of websites and also the opportunities that come with it. The other thing that you will see with 5G, 5G will bring the internet even into rural areas, meaning in areas where today having access to internet means that you have to be at home and need to be connected to Wi-Fi. You will see that 5G will now introduce the internet in areas where you didn't have the internet accessible before. You could be in the Adirondacks, where I am at the moment, in really rural areas, and have full speed, high speed internet on top of a mountain. With that comes opportunity for advertisers to advertise really anywhere. So you will actually see more advertising actually in areas that you have never seen before. Area-wise, as I said, in rural areas, but also more advanced advertising. For example, you will see advertising through augmented reality. If you look at Snapchat and a few other social media the channels, they use already augmented reality a lot with their filters. Mm-hmm. So you will see that more going forward, that companies will use it in their apps and actually allow you to basically augment what's going on your phone with the reality. Example actually is Burger King. If you use Burger King's app today, you can point the app and the camera at a McDonald's or McDonald's ad or McDonald's sign, mm-hmm. and click on it. It burns that sign, that actually it's advertising only. You point it at a McDonald's advertising. You click on it or you tap on it, it burns the advertising of McDonald's on your screen, replaces it with a Burger King advertising with a coupon code for a special, which is fantastic. Yeah. That's really cool. That's real life application of those things. And so 5G will allow you to do that everywhere and more often and more. Also, the functional use of holographics, you will be able to use to actually do product presentations in form of holographics, which is incredible too, in places that you couldn't do that before because you just didn't have the bandwidth. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting twist. In general, the usage of augmented reality or alternative reality and virtual reality, you will see that more. Actually, Melissa talked about that a few weeks ago. I think it was the Amazon app and new features for the furniture, where you can replace the products in your own room, in your reality with the phone. Lowe's is testing at the moment how to sessions where you can be in virtual reality and learn virtual reality how to do tiling or how to do any kind of things. And then I think with 5G, we will finally see something that we looked into a few years ago and contemplated together with the client, and that is provide real time direction in a hospital. Who hasn't gotten lost in a hospital? I mean, you're going to visit somebody, you want to go to a department, and the maze. How cool would it be if you just point your phone at a directory and say, okay, I want to go in this department, and then you hold the phone in front of you, and it points, go take it right here, go the elevator up here and there, in combination with actually where you're walking. So these things are all things you can see and will see going forward, which is kind of cool. Also related to that is, more and more, I just heard that apparently Apple is also contemplating glasses. I don't know. Did you guys hear about that they want to introduce glasses?
No, I haven't actually.
So I'm wondering if they get into that, because I think the Google glasses were not really a success. Nevertheless, it doesn't mean it might not happen. But if glasses will come to fruition, that connect to the internet, I was reading up on that. And at that point, you can replace advertising, digital advertising, anywhere you are, and you can place it with the competition using the Burger King advertising. Again, if somebody has the glasses on, you drive by a McDonald's. Burger King might just overlay it with advertising for a special burger down the road, two blocks down from the McDonald's, which is just mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, what 5G also will provide is actually more data, meaning now all of a sudden data are available that are more granular, especially as it relates to locations.
Yeah.
Meaning because it's being delivered through the 5G network, now they can pinpoint where people are from a location perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and collect a completely different set of data that they can use then in the future. And also related to that is we will get a completely new set of players in data collection, meaning the telco companies will be getting into the data collection and selling those data, we will see. And then a really interesting twist I've seen was that down the road, what would happen, that they might link public sensors, that are location-based sensors on traffic, on temperature, or whatever, and actually combine those sensors with your locations, with your location data being covered, which is really mind-boggling. So the long and the short is 5G will actually have a huge impact on marketing
Mm-hmm.
and marketers. But in order to stay in theme and also consistent with our overall messaging over the, since we have the podcast, it's also scary, and I'm not sure if I'm really looking forward to that, because it just makes all the problems about the data collection, the monopolies that we have on the digital side, it just multiplies it. It just makes it even worse. So from that perspective, I'm not looking forward to it. Purely remove as a marketer, it's amazing, it's fantastic, but scary.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all comes back to changing the user's expectations. And with 5G and all of the features that are going to appear because of 5G, it's our job as marketers to maintain those user expectations and to continue to meet them as they continue to grow and adapt with 5G.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a very good point. And then ultimately, that is our job. So yeah. I agree with you. Want to keep going, Melissa, since you're on the roll?
Sure. So I'm actually going to talk about a new WordPress feature that just recently rolled out. They have a new feature where you can connect your social media accounts like Twitter to your blog feed, and every time you publish a new blog, you can the WordPress connection will automatically create Twitter threads of your blog content on your Twitter profile, so you can automatically send out tweets and it all appear in a thread, and it uses artificial intelligence to recognize punctuation and paragraph breaks so that they split it up into nice little tweet formats. So you can, within your Twitter feed, you can have literally your entire blog just written out in tweets automatically. And then at the very end, it'll have like a customizable like end tweet where you can write in like a call to action and a link to your blog.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It definitely be very cool.
Does it come native, or is it a plugin or extra service, a company that's providing that service?
From my understanding, it's within the new WordPress update itself, and it's no additional cost or add-on of any kind. You just have to opt into the feed. You have to set up the configuration and opt into it.
Is it just Twitter?
It says other social medias, but the research and all the articles so far really talked about the Twitter feed, like the Twitter threads.
Okay.
But they did say that it is going to be for other social media as well.
That's really interesting. Also, is it suggesting posts? So is it going through your content and then suggesting posts, and then you basically just confirm, or does it do it automatically? Do you know how that works?
I think it does it automatically. It just uses its artificial intelligence to find where to stop a tweet within the, the character limit, and then it just creates like a thread of tweets all about one blog post. You do have the option to customize the beginning of the thread too. Like I said, you can customize the end with like a call to action in the link. Your first piece of the thread can also be customized to say whatever you want, to give it like an introduction.
Wow.
They focused on Twitter threads specifically because research has shown that threads are more visible on feeds and they show up more and as recommended, content within discover feeds of Twitter, mainly because it's more content and usually gets better engagement. So the more engagement, the more people are going to see it.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that, because I've always wondered. I haven't seen it a lot, but every now and then you do see those longer threads. So that is, you're saying that this is actually advantageous to do that more?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because the downside about putting all of your content in a Twitter feed is I don't believe every single tweet is linking back to your blog, your website. It's just the last piece. So you're kind of losing your blog traffic if people are just reading through your tweets. So that's why people are kind of have mixed feelings about it. I think that it would work for shorter blogs, but if you really optimize this blog for, services that you're trying to rank for, I don't know if it's necessarily the best option.
Interesting. We should try it out. It is definitely something, that sounds very interesting.
Yep.
Cool. Maggie, what do you have this week?
So I'm going to be talking about how Instagram/Facebook is increasing their e-commerce brand. They're now bringing shopping to Reels and IGTV. So with shopping on IGTV and Reels, they're trying to make it easier to shop directly from videos and help sellers share their story, reach customers, and make a living, basically. So when people watch these videos, they'll be able to tap the items in the video, and they can complete a purchase either through the Instagram checkout process or the seller's website. So they're really trying to put a spotlight on e-commerce across all its apps, as more businesses, as we know, are going virtual because of the pandemic. So kind of the timing of this update is allowing Instagram to get a bigger piece of the online holiday market, which will skew more virtual this year and is usually dominated by like Walmart, Amazon, Target. So adding shopping to Reels also echoes a major opportunity that businesses see on TikTok. As we know, Reels is a rival of TikTok. And Walmart was actually interested in TikTok because they saw the value of the potential e-commerce and advertising that can happen on TikTok. So while TikTok is going through the whole scrutiny with the Trump administration, as everybody knows right now, Instagram is kind of trying to take advantage of that and build deeper e-commerce options to help draw in more brands.
Wow.
But the major risks that they are finding of implementing all this could be ruining the user experience, because Instagram is kind of adding more bells and whistles for the advertisers over the actual users.
Mhm.
That might be true, but I think ultimately this is where it's going, meaning the shopping will be entrenched and integrated into everything. I know that in
Right.
China, in the China market, the shopping in all platforms and channels is much more entrenched and common than here,
Mhm.
and more and also less in Europe. But for example, some of the biggest shopping channels are actually messengers, where I would never think that I would ever shop, triggered by,
Yeah.
me being in a messenger. But in China, it's a huge business.
Mhm.
And so I think you will see that there might be people impacted and not liking the user experience. It will be a blip, and then after a while, it's just what it is, and it's just another way for them to make more money.
Right. And Instagram actually just updated. They now have an actual tab on Instagram for specifically for shopping.
Mhm.
Whereas
Yeah.
before they didn't have a tab for it. Now it's added in like the bottom of your Instagram homepage.
Yeah. I think this just is going to make video even more important on social media. If it's starting to
Yeah.
integrate shopping within video, it just means even further, what we've been saying for years now, that video is king in terms of engagement and in terms of reactions and getting links over to your website. So this
Right.
kind of drives it down even further.
Yeah, I agree, and you see it across the board. And it's the one social media I use a lot. Actually, I use it as a search engine is Pinterest. And in Pinterest, you see a significant change. Have been seeing a significant change over the last year, more towards video and also more commercializing everything. So it's just entrenched everything. And going back to 5G will just accelerate all of that.
Yep,
Right.
exactly.
Very interesting. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Melissa. I hope you liked our podcast this week, and see you again next week.